Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday night live stream. Before I begin, can you please let me know that my audio is working? I know I should check this before I do it, but this is the best way to just make sure that everything is tuned in. Mic is good. Thank you, Lena. Appreciate it. Welcome, everyone, to another Sunday night live stream. This is an accountability live stream. This is a place for you to talk about where you're at during your fasting journey, your weight loss journey, your health and wellness journey. Please use the chat as a place to share whether you're doing well, whether you're having a couple hiccups. I want this to be a safe space where we do respect each other here. This is a place where we all have one common goal, and that's to be healthy and happy. And I hope that all of you, at least from what I've seen, as I go through all of the comments, all of the chat comments, you guys have been very respectful, and I appreciate that. So thank you for the support. Thank you for being here. We have a smaller crowd tonight, and that's okay. That isn't going to change anything that I do. It isn't going to change my progress or what I'm doing. Tonight, I want to talk about how fasting continues to be a way of life for me. Fasting will always be a way of life for me. It isn't just a fad diet. This isn't just a quick way to lose weight, even though it can be. It's so much more than that. And as I continue to now be 200 plus days into my journey. I'm just learning so much more about myself, not just about the weight loss, but the mental aspect. For me, a lot of it is the consistency to show up day after day and do it over and over again. And my goal is to lead by example, but to also show you that it can be done. And it doesn't have to be this. A lot of people think that fasting means you have to fast for a week or 2 weeks, or that you have to lay in bed and do nothing all day. And that isn't the case. Before I continue, Jonathan, how's it going, man? Jonathan with a $50 donation, a super huge, generous donation. Jonathan, thank you so much. The binging has been up and down, but we'll work it out, Jerome. First of all, Jonathan, thank you for a huge donation, but also thank you for, well, not thank you, but this is big for you to show some accountability here and to even share something about binging and your struggles with that. So it isn't something that's easy to share. I appreciate you showing up here, being accountable, spending some time with us. Also, thank you for such a huge donation. I mean, that is a huge support. And as always, thank you. I'm sure we'll be talking soon. I have to check my calendar when our next session is. But Jonathan, thanks so much for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody, welcome here. Thank you also for being here, just being in chat, showing support, showing up. I have one question for you, and you know what that question is going to be. Are you waiting till Monday? For a lot of us, we think that Monday is the beginning of the week. So that means that that should be the day we start our weight loss journey, our fasting journey. Are you sitting here waiting till Monday? Because here at Finally Fasting, you shouldn't. This isn't a place to start till Monday. This is a place where you start today. This is a place where you start taking accountability in what you're doing and telling yourself that your health, that your life is that important that you need to take care of it today, that you need to take care of it now. That is easier said than done, coming from somebody who has repeated the same things over and over and over. But I'm 200 plus days into my journey, and it would be crazy for me. Imagine if tomorrow, or imagine if I just came here and I said, welcome to day one of my fasting journey. You'd all be like, what? That's crazy. Why would you do that? Why would you start over? And I'm asking you the same question. Why would you start over? Despite whatever weight you're at, why can't your journey just be your journey? Why can't it already have started? Why wait till Monday when it could have started over the weekend? You could have still enjoyed yourself, but maybe instead you could have hit the timer and you could have learned from that experience and then hit the timer again when you started fasting. It doesn't mean that you have to fast for super long amounts of time. I'm sure there's some of you that aren't even waiting till Monday. You're going to wait till Tuesday because tomorrow's Memorial Day. Maybe you're going to have a barbecue, but why? Why couldn't you start your timer now? Why couldn't you have started it days before? And just let the weekend be the weekend. Enjoy your time and just hit the timer when it's time to stop fasting and when it's time to start fasting. Why can't you enjoy yourself and maybe be just a little more mindful about what you're eating? Or maybe you don't have to be mindful. Maybe the only thing that you will do during the weekend of indulging yourself is just hitting the timer. Nobody's saying you have to eat perfectly. Nobody's saying you have to fast for a certain amount of time during the weekend. It's just about hitting the timer and being mindful about it. That is how you start to build experience in what you're doing when it comes to fasting. That's learning about yourself. You not restarting over and over is pushing yourself to stop that bad habit, because that is a bad habit. I'm guilty of that bad habit. Starting over, restarting, day oneing everything. Why are you day oneing everything? Why do you have to say, okay, tomorrow's going to be day one? When when midnight hits, it's going to be day one. It's May 26th right now. Are you waiting till June 1st? Is that going to be your new starting date? Is your birthday coming up? So after your birthday, that's going to be your new starting date? Because it's not going to be on your birthday, because on your birthday, you're probably going to be celebrating and you're going to be eating. And so you don't want to think about it. It always has to be some arbitrary date, and it doesn't need to be. You can start your journey today. You can start logging your times today. You can start learning about yourself today instead of waiting till Monday, instead of day oneing, instead of waiting for a special occasion like a birthday to pass or a new month to hit or after your vacation ends. It doesn't have to always be this, I'm going to start later. I'm going to start later. I'm going to start later. Because think about how many times you have done that. Think about how many times you told yourself that and probably told other people, hey, you know what? I'm going to start on Monday. Because I've done that too. For me back then, that was my way of showing some type of accountability, or I'd even joke about it. Yeah, I'm not going to start today. I'm going to start Monday. And then the people I'd be with, we'd laugh about it because we knew that it probably wasn't going to happen anyway. If that's you, if that's your way of thinking, it's time to maybe start thinking differently. It's time to start changing that type of attitude. Because how much do you really prioritize your health? How important is it for you that you stay happy and healthy? Because how long can you keep going in the condition or the state of unhealthiness or bad habits that you have been doing? How long can you do that before, or how long can you do that for before something happens to you? Or are you already in that situation? And if you are, why aren't you getting a better grasp at it? Why aren't you doing something to change that? Why would you put yourself in that situation if you know that you can do something to help yourself get out of there? Part of me thinks that you're in here for a reason, that you want to make that change, that it's important to you. So think about that. Take a step back. Think about what you're doing. Tell yourself it doesn't have to be this crazy long fast. You don't have to eat super clean on the weekends if that's not what you want to do. If you are enjoying time because you're on vacation or you're just with family, take time to do that. But learn to do it while being on your journey instead of separating the two and saying, I'm just going to start on Monday because Monday is when the work day starts, or Tuesday for a lot of us who have Monday off. I don't have Monday off, but for other people that might have Monday off, you're going to start Tuesday because that's the beginning of the work week and you can be more focused during that work week and nothing else is going to be in the way distracting you. But you know that in the future, something else is going to distract you. You know that something else is going to happen, some life event, some social event, someone else's birthday party, a work trip, you might be traveling, something else is going to happen. So why not learn from those experiences instead of saying, I'm just going to wait till Monday or until this work trip is over or until this vacation is over? Stop waiting till Monday. Stop doing that to yourself. There is no reason to do that. I understand why you would, coming from someone who's done it time and time again. But 7 months later, I'm starting to realize, why was I waiting? Because here I am now 7 months later. Think about where you would be in 7 months if you had just started, if you had just done something consistent, if you stopped restarting. Because for a lot of us, our restarts, before the restart happens, that's when we binge. That's when we overeat. That's when we don't take care of ourselves. That's when we do things that you know you shouldn't be doing. Think about if you stop doing those over-the-top things, the things that you know you shouldn't be doing, and get a better handle on your health. Think about where you'd be 7 months in. Right now, I'm 7 months, I'm 29 weeks in. So I'm 7 months and 1 week into my journey. 1 pound a week, Doing that 29 weeks, 29 pounds. And that probably wouldn't even be super difficult to do if your goal was just to lose 1 pound a week. Because not only would you be losing 1 pound a week, but you'd gain 7+ months of experience doing that. Can't wait to flex with a $5 donation. Can't wait to flex. Thank you for the support. Can't remember if I've seen you here before, but thank you. Thank you so much for the donation. Oh my God, I'm so happy I caught a live. I love your perspective on fasting. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I just came off a 95-hour fast. Congratulations on doing a 4-day fast. Pretty much a 4-day fast. Down 6 pounds, down and feeling light as a feather. Can't wait to flex. Congratulations on not only the 4-day fast, but getting through it. I don't know what your goal was, if that was your goal, but here is me motivating you to push through and get another one in the books, or whatever it is that you're getting in the books. For me, it's more about not about the length of the fast, but how consistent can you be? What's next in store? So congratulations. Can't wait to flex. Can't wait to flex. Thank you again for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Practicing imperfect consistency is the name of the game when it comes to what we're doing, or to what I'm doing. Imperfect consistency is what got me here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Imperfect consistency. Practicing imperfect consistency can help you realize you don't have to do things super crazy. It doesn't mean that every fast has to be longer than the previous one. It doesn't mean that every workout has to be harder than the previous one. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be this arduous, torturous type of deal where you feel like you have to push harder every single time. It doesn't mean that you can't if you don't want to, because if you want to and you know that pushing harder is going to get you better results, by all means, as long as you are able to do it healthily and push forward, sure, why not? Why wouldn't you? But it doesn't mean that it has to be like that forever. Once you find a groove and can stick to it and get a routine down, you would be amazed and start to realize, oh yeah, why have I been restarting over and over when all I could have just been doing was just hitting that timer regardless of what happened during that day? Because bad days are going to happen. I hate to break it to you, but your fasting regimen, your fasting journey will never be perfect. And learning from those ups and downs is what will find you success. Going through those ups and downs is what is going to help you get through those hard times. Imagine all those times that you didn't do things perfectly, that you didn't do things the way you wanted to do them. Imagine those times when that happened and how many times you walked away from it and learned nothing from it. You took nothing from that because you were frustrated, you were upset, and you were like, what's the point of this? Nothing is going my way. I'm just going to walk away from this. You learn nothing from it. And then you start again weeks later, trying to do the exact same thing, learning nothing, just repeating the cycle, doing the same things over and over, making the same mistakes because you don't take the time to learn from what you're doing. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to imperfect consistency. Embrace the imperfection. Be okay with being imperfect. Accept the imperfection. Let that be a moment of growth, a moment of learning for you. When you start to figure that out, when you start to realize, oh yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. When you start to grasp that and you start to actually make that part of your mantra, part of your way of life, you would be surprised how far you can go. Because now you can look back at it a month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, and be like, yeah, I did this and it wasn't perfect, but nothing's ever perfect. Life isn't perfect. And if you think it's going to be during your journey, You know what's going to happen? You're just going to be restarting. That's what's going to happen if that's what you think should be happening. Door Gunner with a $5 donation. Door Gunner, thank you so much for the donation. Rolling 72s for 3 weeks and down 20 pounds. That's amazing. 3 weeks, 20 pounds. Congratulations, Door Gunner. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being accountable. Thank you for showing some vulnerability in what you're doing. Single meal refeeds on high carb, low fat is working amazing. That's great. Love that for you. Lots of energy. 4 to 8 mile walks 5 days a week. You're like me. I walk about 6 miles, I think, on average. Today I walked 2 hours. I don't know how many miles that was, but that was actually, I'm a little curious. I walked for 2 hours today and it rained. So I walked with an umbrella over my head most of the time for those 2 hours. I'm just kind of curious how many steps I got in today. 15,000. 15. Oh, no, that's my average for the week. What was my day? Yes, 15,000 for the day. Anyway, Door Gunner, thank you for the $5 donation. Thank you for sharing your story with us and what you're doing. Appreciate that. Keep going with the rolling. Hopefully you have that momentum. It sounds like that you do. I'm actually curious how many pounds left you have to go. Maybe write that in the comments and I'll read that later because I do read all the comments that do come in here. Let's talk about the challenge for May. At the beginning of May, which is now 26 days ago, I had started a community challenge to do 65-hour fasts the entire month of May, back to back to back to back. For those that weren't able to do 65-hour fasts, I told them, okay, just make it a consistency challenge. Go through the month and see how consistent you can be for the month of May. Whether or not you get through a 65, that's okay. All I ask is you hit the timer and go again and be consistent. If your plan was to do OMADs, to just be consistent for the entire month. If it meant walking 5 times a week, that's all I'm asking. So with that being said, how many of you have stuck with the May consistency challenge? Have you started on May 1st and you've still been doing what you're doing? Let me know in chat. I'm very curious, or people who watch this later in the stream, let me know in the comments. I'm curious about where you're at, if you've been able to do it, and if you've been able to find some success being consistent in what you're doing. 65-hour fast for the entire month of May means by the time I'm done doing this, I will have done 10 65-plus-hour fasts for the month of May. I have currently done 8 of them. I think actually, I know I have the slides, so let me go ahead and share this. Yeah, right here, right on cue. So for the month of May, I have done 8 65-plus-hour fasts. I am working now on number 9. I'm currently, well, actually that says 18 there, but if you see here, I'm currently 19 hours into my 9th 65-hour fast. I will be breaking at the 65-hour mark, meaning I will be breaking on Tuesday, May 28th. I've been averaging probably somewhere around 67 hours, it looks like here. I've had one that went over 70 hours, but for the most part, they're about 67-ish hours. But the May consistency challenge for me is more than just about fasting. I had also said I would do a 1-hour walk at least 6 times a week for the month of May. Today is May 26th. And in those 26 days, I have gone for at least a 1-hour walk 25 of 26 of those days. I put here that I was going to do 26 walks out of the 31 days, and I'm already 1 more walk away from that, 96.2% complete. But not only am I trying to do 1-hour plus walks, but 6 days a week, but to also strength train 3 times a week. And now I have done that 14 of the last 26 days, and I have already exceeded strength training. I was marked here to do 13 of them. I've already done 14. I'm probably going to go to the gym tomorrow to lift because I took a day off from lifting today. So I'm already way past that. And the last part of my consistency challenge is to sleep for 7 hours a night on average. This is the hardest part of my challenge. In the last 25 days, on average, I have been sleeping for about 6 hours. So not exactly 7. There's still 5 days, 6 days left of sleep. So we'll see if I can get that up to, there's no way I can get that up to 7. At this point, I probably have to be sleeping like 9 hours a night, and that's most likely not going to happen. But maybe I can push it up just a little bit. So we'll see where I'm at by the time that the end of the month comes. Spike with a $20 super chat. Spike, thank you for such a generous donation. As always, it's always nice to see you here, Spike. Thank you so much for the donation. Spike says, tweaked my fast this week. 100 hours, no caffeine, water only. Actually, you know what, Spike? I got your email and I saw this and I forgot to reply to you. This is incredible. For anyone who is watching this right now, so this is actually something I'm trying to do. One, to do a 100-hour fast is already a great feat, but to do a 100-hour fast with no caffeine for someone like me who drinks so much caffeine, that is my worry. But it looks like Spike has done this here, a no caffeine 100-hour fast, which is amazing, but a dry fast the last 24 hours. Spike had emailed me and mentioned this to me, and I read that and I was like, that isn't a bad idea. On the last day of my 65-hour fast, I was like, man, maybe I should do that, just a dry fast, to see if I'd lose even more weight than I typically have been during my fasts. But that's incredible, Spike. Broke with bacon and eggs and spam, high fat, dropped another pound. That's awesome, Spike. I love that. Muscles ballooned up and started fasting again. 12 pounds lost total. Congratulations, Spike. Congratulations, because that is a lot of work to do that. Not only to do a 100-hour fast, but to do the last day dry and also to not have caffeine. Incredible, man. So, Spike, thank you for sharing your story. Thanks for even putting this up here, because this might be an idea for other people who are trying to do something a little more aggressive, maybe to think about doing something like that. But Spike, thank you again for the $20 donation. I appreciate the support. Thank you as always. Thank you for being here. It's always great to see you. Thank you so much. Mark, also with a $20 donation. Mark, thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Coach, made it to the Sunday live stream. It's nice to see you here, Mark, as always. Tried to do a 100-hour fast this week. Made it to 93, but not feeling like a failure. And that's awesome, man. I love that for you. Thank you also for sharing your story. Thank you for showing up here. Thank you for sharing it with the others to let other people know that this is possible, that you can do it. Not feeling like a failure. And that is huge here. Mark and I, we've been working together for some time now. And to see Mark get through some headway and start finding success, I love this for him. I really think for a lot of people, here's the thing. It's not just about fasting, but it's finding a lot of things out about yourself, especially when it comes to the mental aspect. A lot of us have a lot of mental barriers. When it comes to fasting, the thing that I think is really important to share is a lot of it is mental. There is so much of a mental process within this to keep going that once you can pass that, that is when, for a lot of us, you start to find success, you start to find routine, you start to learn more about yourself. And I do feel like, at least from the way Mark and I have been working together, that he has been finding success in those ways. So I'm glad to see that. And I'm glad that you're able to share your story here. 25 pounds lost so far and feeling great. And that's the thing. I can't remember, Mark, how long it's taken you to lose those 25 pounds when you've started this new regimen, but Mark's been able to drop that pretty quickly. So Mark, thank you again for such a generous donation. I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you. Thank you. DP with a $2 super chat. DP, Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. During your 90 rolling, did you drink diet sodas? No, I drank diet pop. Yes, I drank diet sodas. I don't call it sodas. I call it pop. Yeah, I did. And I did it because it helped me get through prolonged fasts. Drinking water for 90 hours gets boring for me. After a while, it actually starts to taste a little gross to me. So for me, drinking a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi or Diet Dr. Pepper is helpful. My favorite diet, though, is Diet Mountain Dew, but I don't drink those during my fasts because they have a little bit of orange juice in them. So even if you buy Diet Mountain Dew in 12-ounce cans, it might say 0 calories in the back, but if you ever bought a 20-ounce Diet Mountain Dew, you'll see it shows 5 calories or 10 calories, I think 5. So I don't drink that, but I do drink Diet Pop. I also will drink Zevia as a healthier way to drink something. But yeah, I do drink that. So DP, if you are wondering if that's something you can drink, it's something that you might want to try out and see if it's able to prolong your fast. Here's the thing too, and I've been telling this to people I've been coaching. Think of this scenario, DP. Let's say you're doing a 90-hour fast. You have two options. You have three options. One, you get through a 90-hour fast, complete water fast. Two, you do a 90-hour fast, but you use a diet pop to help you get through it. Or three, you can't do a 90-hour fast. You have to break at, let's say, the 36-hour mark. So you refeed, and then you go again, and you try to do another 90-hour fast until you're able to do it. Which one would you pick? I'm sure if all of us could do water fasts and do it completely clean and pure, we'd probably do that. But if you had the option of doing a 90-hour fast while drinking a Diet Coke versus doing a 90-hour fast, or versus doing a fast where you might not get to 90 hours and you might have to break in the middle and then go again, which is a perfectly viable solution or a viable alternative, right? Or option. If you don't want to drink a diet, whatever, you could do that too. But if your goal is to just get the weight off the scale and you want to do something when it comes to autophagy or the health benefits of that later, that's always something you can do down the road as well. So DP, again, thank you for the $2 donation. I appreciate the support. I know I was a little long talking about that, but I just wanted to share that for anybody who might be watching this later. BBQ Weeb, has become a YouTube member or a part of the Finally Fasting fam. BBQ Weeb, thank you so much. I can't see exactly which tier you joined, whether it is the OMAD tier or the autophagy tier. But for people in the chat, please, if you can, let's show some Fs in the chat for people who are members. I'm talking about the Finally Fasting logo. I guess I'll share this with you all here too, but you know what F I'm talking about. It's this one right here. Let's throw some of these up for BBQ Weeb. This one's for you, BBQ Weeb. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Spike, again, with a $10 donation. Spike, thank you again for another donation. When I'm water fasting, I can drop 3 to 5 pounds the first day, 1 to 3 pounds the days after. But if I drink 2 diet sodas, the next day will be 0 to 0.75 pounds lost. So it can stall you. Thank you for sharing that, Spike. I mean, and that's something to consider too. So this is also going to be different for everybody, right? Because think about it. When I lost 80 pounds in 5 months, when I lost 80 pounds in that record time, I was drinking a diet pop. That was something that was helping me to get through it. But your mileage may vary, and it might vary from person to person. So think about that as you're doing it. If you are stalling or if you aren't getting the weight off, then maybe that is the culprit, and you have to see what that looks like otherwise. So thank you though, Spike, for sharing that piece of advice. I mean, that's very helpful, very helpful. Okay. I'm trying to see where I'm at. So I'm looking at my notes here, everyone. Okay. Today is day 203 of my fasting journey. I am now 200 plus days into my fasting journey. I'm 29 weeks in exactly. I'm 7 months and 1 week into my health and wellness journey. That is 7+ months of accountability, consistency, showing up, being transparent, being honest, not only with myself, but being honest to all of you about what I'm doing and where I've been. I'm going to say this, being honest with yourself is such an important thing. Being honest with what you're doing and not cheating on the timer and not sneaking in something to eat without actually making a note of it. Being honest with yourself is such a huge piece of what I've been doing. And I take pride in that. Being 203 days into my journey, being transparent and accountable and honest with myself and showing up. Before I go into this too, DP has also become a YouTube member or part of the Finally Fasting fam. Thank you, DP. Thank you so much. Please, other members, other Finally Fasting fam members, let's throw some F's up for DP. DP, thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, 7+ months, 203 days in. Think about where you'd be, like I said earlier, if you had started then. If you had been accountable and you showed up and you were transparent, I just think the imperfect consistency in a lot of this, in not trying to do these huge feats all the time, but being okay with the small successes and actually being okay with the imperfections and maybe even falling or failing for a day or two or whatever it might be and learning from that. I think that is such an important piece of it too. 203 days, if I can find the slide, which is what I've been trying to do here while I was talking. This is where I'm at. 203 days on my fasting journey. I have completed 60 fasts in 203 days. My average fast in these 60 fasts over 203 days, my average fast is 75 hours and 36 minutes. And so what I'm trying to say is in the last 7 months and 1 week, I have done 60 fasts in the last 7 months and 1 week. And those 60 fasts on average have averaged out to 75+ hours. 75 hours is 3+ days of fasting over and over and over for the last 7+ months, which is what I call a rolling fast. If you're not sure what a rolling fast is, it means that you fast for an extended period of time, a prolonged amount of time, you refeed for a short amount of time, and then you fast again. You roll into your next fast. My average refeed over the last 203 days is 5 hours and 13 minutes. So what that means is on average in the last 203 days, I would fast for 75 hours and then I would refeed for 5 hours. Fast for 75 hours, refeed for 5 hours. Remember, this is also including the 10 days of vacation that I had where I was eating anything and everything, only averaging 16-hour fasts and averaging 10-hour refeeds. So even with those 10 days of only fasting for 16 hours and refeeding for 10+ hours, it still averaged out to 75 hours at the end. Out of those 60 fasts, 10 of those 60 fasts were 16-hour fasts and 10-hour refeeds and still averaged to 75 hours. This is the bigger picture. This is the imperfect consistency I'm talking about. When it comes to the first 138 days, that was my weight loss phase. That was my longer extended phase. And that's when I went from 217.8 pounds to 139.8 pounds. That's how I lost 78 pounds doing longer fasts the first 138 days. And then the remaining days to where I'm at right now, I think today is day 66 of my maintenance plan. I have been maintaining my weight for the last 66 days. Just thought I'd share that just so people would get a better picture of what I'm doing and where I'm at. Eric Freeman with a huge $20 donation. Eric, thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Thank you. Eric says, hey, Jerome, your channel and a healthy alternative has been a huge inspiration for me. I'm glad to hear that, Eric. I'm glad both of these channels, my channel and a healthy alternative, have been such an inspiration for you. I've lost 60 pounds so far. Congrats. 60 pounds, that's a huge amount. 20 to 30 pounds more before maintenance. So just like me, you're trying to lose about 80, 90 pounds. So that's great. Eric, congratulations on such a huge amount of weight loss. I look forward to watching, or your live chats keep me going. I look forward to watching them. I'm glad you're here, Eric. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable to sharing what you're doing. I appreciate that. I do. And again, thank you so much for the huge donation. I appreciate the support. Everyone, thank you for the support. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm looking at my notes. So just give me a second here. So to kind of go back to where I'm at to when I'm talking about 203 days and showing all that info, I also want to share that today is day 203 for me where I have not binged. It's been over 7 months since I've last binged. My last binge was on November 5th, 2023. I remember that evening vividly because the binge happened after I live streamed on this channel. And I said I was going to start tomorrow, which is what I did. And I binged. I remember vividly everything I bought and all the food I ate and how full I felt after and how I know I didn't need to do it, but I did it because I have an eating disorder, right? But I can successfully say I have now gone 203 days without binging. And I take a lot of pride in that. That means a lot to me because when you're someone like me who has binged day after day after day and thought to myself, am I ever going to break out of that? There was a long period of time where I thought I was never going to break out of that. So it's big. It is big for me. I want people to remember I not only lost this weight and now have kept it off for over 2 months, but I've also done this without taking any medication, without taking any supplements. I haven't had weight loss surgery. I'm not on, Ozempic or anything like that. And this isn't to knock anyone who does any of these things because that's not what this is about. I just want people to understand that I have been able to do this in a more natural way. I've been able to do this while still eating whatever I want to eat during my refeeds, no caloric restrictions. I eat 6,000 calories on average every refeed. In 4 hours, I eat about 6,000 calories. I know that sounds like a lot. I know that's more than the typical person who eats in a day, but that's also part of my eating disorder is the huge amount that I can eat. But I also know that 6,000 calories isn't binging for me, even though it sounds like it. 6,000 calories for me is eating to satiety. I can easily eat double that, if not more than that, during a binge, just FYI, which is why my only restriction when it comes to what I'm doing, I fast for a certain amount of time, no other restrictions except I can only eat for a certain amount of time, which is about 4, 5, or 6 hours. Because I know that if I give myself a longer window of eating, I know that I can put a lot more down. Adesh, Rohan, Mishra became part of the Finally Fasting family. Adesh, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. Is this going to be a thing I do now? Other members of the Finally Fasting fam, can we throw some F's in the chat for Adesh? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. It's great to have you here. I'm not sure which tier you joined, but thank you for being part of the fam. I appreciate you. I haven't shown this one either yet, but this is going to come for all of you soon if you guys are interested. But I also have this. I have the F's, right? But this is the other. Well, I'm holding it. There you go. If that looks familiar. Oh yeah, this is a thing too. If all of you have not noticed, just FYI, it's coming. I just haven't. These are samples. I'm still waiting for the actual. So when that comes is when I'll have the stickers and stuff too. But anyway, moving on. I want to talk about my maintenance really quick. So I'm trying to find that slide to share with you all here. So give me 1 second. Okay. I have been on my maintenance plan now for 66 days. Today's day 66 of keeping my weight in check. Just because I'm in maintenance mode doesn't mean that every day I'm going to be in my range. Maintenance mode, where I'm at right now, is the final phase of where I'm at. My goal is to just keep myself at this weight, or at least in this range. But I also know that life happens. I know that vacations are going to happen. I know that special days where I'm probably going to eat longer than 4-5 hours is going to happen. Actually, that's going to be coming up soon on June 1st. Just FYI, for those that might not know, June 1st, I'm eating the entire day. I'm probably doing a 12-15 hour refeed. It's a special day, so I'm doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm probably going to record everything I eat that day just so you see what that's like. So I show up for accountability. So for people who like watching me eat, I mean, I'm not going to show myself eating the entire thing, but be prepared for a full day of eating that day. But what I'm trying to say is that during my maintenance phase, I want people to understand that this isn't just about keeping the weight in check all day, every day. I want people to know that life happens. And you'll see here, even when I'm sharing this slide, when I started my maintenance plan, days 1 through 17, if you look at the top left, days 1 through 17, I kept my weight in check. And then days 18 through 27 is when I went on vacation. That's when I gained 21 pounds in 10 days, right? So even though that happened, I know that I had to trust the process and I had to keep doing what I'm doing. And you'll see after days 18 to 27, on day 29, actually on the evening of day 27 is when I started fasting again. And you'll see that even through these 65-hour fasts, I wasn't doing 90-hour fasts anymore. I have slowly lost and continued to lose that weight and now get back down to my range. On day 47, I hit the top end of my maintenance range. And on day 65, which was yesterday, I hit the midpoint of my maintenance range, the lowest I've been since day 17 of maintenance when I was at 138 pounds. I say all of this because I want people to know that ups and downs are going to happen. Imagine if I had those 10 days of vacation where I gained 21 pounds and then I came back the following day and I said, hey, everyone, welcome to day 1 of my fasting journey. No, that's not how it works. The journey doesn't end. The journey doesn't end. The journey continues and will always continue. Stop day oneing. Stop saying, I'm going to wait till Monday, because that is not how it works. You are not going to learn. For those that are interested, go watch my video where I talked about gaining 21 pounds. That was a learning experience for me. I know that there were people in the comments. Most of you were very supportive. And thank you for that. But there were other people in the comments that are like, I can't believe you eat like this. What are you doing? How could you do this? You don't go on vacation. You don't take time to indulge a little bit. God, I was not eating. I was eating once every 4 days for the last 138 days. And then after that, I've been eating once every 3 days for the last 2 months, right? I'm giving myself some grace and not only eating whatever I want for those 10 days, but learning from the experience, being accountable and sharing my story. I know there are a lot of you who go on vacation and who probably indulge, and there's nothing wrong with that. The real important question is, are you able to get back on it and keep going? That's the real important piece here. How consistent can you be? That's what I'm talking about when it comes to imperfect consistency and how important imperfect consistency is. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Once you can accept that and learn to be imperfectly consistent, I'm telling you, you will start to, you're going to realize, oh shit, that makes so much sense. I can fuck up, I can have a bad day, but it doesn't mean I have to throw it all away. It doesn't mean I have to binge. Maybe I'm going to overeat. Maybe the day isn't going to be perfect, but I can keep going. I can be consistent. Just sharing that. Spike, well, wait, L Boogie and Spike. Spike, I know you are already part of the Finally Fasting fam, but L Boogie, thank you. I'm going to put Spike up here too. Spike, thank you. Spike, I think you're probably just re-upping is what I'm guessing here. But L Boogie and Spike, thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. I appreciate you. Members of the Finally Fasting fam, can we throw some F's in the chat for L Boogie and Spike Fast Racing? Thank you guys so much for being part of the family. I appreciate it. Val with a $5 donation. Val, how's it going? It's nice to see you as always. Hey, Jerome. Well, first of all, Val, thank you for the $5 donation. Thank you for the support. Val says, hey, Jerome, you give so much great advice. I appreciate that you see the insightfulness in the advice that I give. Honestly, a lot of this advice is just things that I have told myself over and over, things that I'm finally accepting of myself as well, and things that I talk about during my coaching. So I appreciate that you find knowledge within that and insightfulness. So thank you. By the way, Val, are you serious? Val says, by the way, I'm going to start Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So you're not going to start on Monday. You're going to start tonight, 1 minute before Monday. Val, thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me go back into maintenance here just so you all can see what I'm talking about as well. So I want to share this here too. These are the 65-hour fast that I started after I gained 21 pounds. So when I gained 21 pounds, it threw me from 138 to 159. And then after the first 65-hour fast, I already lost 10 pounds. I went down to 149. I did another 65-hour fast, 146, so on, so on, so on. I have now done 13 65-hour fasts in a row. 13. I'm currently working on my 14th. So remember, yes, I'm working on my 9th 65-hour fast for the month of May, but I have done 14, or I'm working on 14 now. I was already doing 65-hour fasts prior to May. So I'm just showing this here because I want you to understand that even though the 65-hour fasts have made the weight drop very slowly, especially as I'm getting closer to my goal weight, the lower end of my maintenance range, I am still losing weight. I'm still being in the range. I'm still keeping my weight in check. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to imperfect consistency. You might be saying, well, Jerome, that's not really imperfect consistency because you're doing 65-hour fasts over and over and over again. Okay, that's true, but I'm also eating 6,000 plus calories. That isn't the perfect way of eating. There are times where I'm refeeding closer to 7 hours, over 7 hours. That isn't perfect either. Sometimes my refeeds are shorter. Sometimes I break my refeeds with beer or whiskey. That's what I like to do sometimes when I go out with friends. I like to drink. That's the way I break. Yesterday I broke with hot pot. If you guys don't know what hot pot is this, you sit at this place and there's this huge pot and they put broth in it. You pick the type of broth and you throw vegetables and noodles and meat in it and you cook. It's great. It's wonderful. And I broke with that. I ate cheesecake. I ate more cheesecake. I ate a lot that day. And that's not perfect, but I know that the 65-hour fast is going to get me back to an even level of weight. And for the most part, even a little more after that. The only reason I lost so much weight at the very beginning is because I gained 21 pounds after 10 days of eating nonstop. And I knew that after gaining 21 pounds in 10 days, I knew it wasn't 21 pounds of fat. And I also knew that once I started doing 65-hour fasts, my body would start understanding and realizing, oh, Jerome's doing fasts again. We can let go of this water. that he's retained. Because again, let's remember, I didn't gain 21 pounds of fat. Who knows how much weight I actually gained, how much fat I gained during those 10 days? Maybe 6 to 8 pounds. Maybe that's what it was. But I knew that if I kept doing 65-hour fasts and trusting the process and what I was doing, I was going to get results. And here we are getting results again in what I'm doing. This also means that I'm also at this point where I'm at, where I want to do more and be better. And that is what I have in store. So actually, when Spike had talked about doing no caffeine, that's something I've been thinking about a lot. I want to document myself doing no caffeine and seeing how bad that really is. But that video will come. Also, dry fasting, that's something I want to try. Spike's already doing all of those things, and it's something that I want to start incorporating as well, because I want to evolve. I want to see if I can do something that might be a little harder and see how it helps me and see if it actually is more beneficial in doing that. Maybe like Spike said, maybe I'll lose weight quicker if I can go the whole day without drinking any pop or without any caffeine or by dry fasting. Something that I won't know unless I try, which for all of you is the same. You won't know what works until you try it. People are asking me all the time, Jerome, how long should I fast for? How long should I refeed for? What should I eat? I can't answer that question for you. How long should you fast for? Well, fast for as long as you can, as long as you healthily can do it, as long as you can still do the things that you need to do in your daily activities, in your life. See how that feels, then go ahead and refeed. Jerome, what should I eat during my refeed? I don't know. You're going to have to go through trial and error. You know how to eat clean. You know how to eat healthy. If that's what you want to do that. I don't do that. I also don't have issues when it comes to refeeds. I don't find myself in the bathroom bent over for, the next hour, right? I'm fine when it comes to refeeds. Pretty much anything I eat, I'm okay. Yes, I go to the bathroom, but not like that. I'm not in pain. I'm not suffering. So for a lot of people who wonder, you're just going to have to go through the process and figure it out. You know what you have to do. All of you know what you need to eat during a refeed that's clean. People talk about eating really light fruits and vegetables. People talk about eating yogurt. People talk about eating sauerkraut or something fermented. I mean, if that's the answer you're looking for, yes, try those things. People talk about eating a very lean piece of meat, very small, and eating all those things that I talked about and then waiting half an hour or waiting an hour. And then trying to figure out what the next plan is, right? You have to go through that process and see what works. I don't push anything here. I just try to give advice. That's all I'm trying to do. The only thing that I know is fact is if you fast and you don't eat, you're going to lose weight. If you fast and you don't eat, you will lose weight. That is a fact. That is a fact, is a fact, is a fact. Everything else, you're going to have to figure out what that journey is like for you. Whether you add cardio in it, whether you add strength training. People ask me, Jerome, can you lift during fasting? Yeah, you can lift. You can go for a walk. If you can't do those things, if you're having trouble doing those things, then maybe it's time to break. Or maybe it's time to start easing up on how long you're fasting for and getting the fasting muscle stronger, getting used to doing something like that before you start trying to do all of these bigger, harder goals. You won't know unless you start doing it. I can't answer that for you because I'm not you. I can only help you during your journey. I can advise and I can guide, but there's no scientific way of doing it that works. Because the thing is, yes, if you fast, you're going to lose weight. Definitely. You're not going to eat, you're going to lose weight. But the real question is, how long can you keep doing this for? Are you mentally prepared to do a 65-hour fast, a 90-hour fast? Are you prepared to do that again and again and again? When people tell me they want to do what I do, are you prepared to do a 93-hour fast for 5 months in a row, over and over and over? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. But I also know people don't eat the way I do. So you might not be you might not have as many nutrients as I do after such a big refeed. That makes me go 90 hours. Remember, the only reason the only reason I did 90 plus hour fasts is because I knew that that was the number I had to do to get the weight on the scale to go down based on the way I ate, based on the way I exercised. If you don't eat as much as I do, you probably don't need to do 90-hour fasts. It doesn't mean that you can't do a 90-hour fast, because you certainly can. If you do a 90-hour fast, you'll probably lose even more weight. But if a 90-hour fast is too mentally taxing, if it's too physically taxing, there's nothing wrong with doing something shorter and being more mindful when it comes to your eating. Don't forget about the levers of weight loss. When it comes to the levers of weight loss, I've talked about this before. You can find a video on it. I've made a video about this. There are 3 different levers. As a faster, there is the lever of fasting, there's the lever of diet, and then there's the lever of exercise. These 3 levers, you don't have to be good at all 3 of them, but you have to understand that you need to work those levers in a way that will get you to lose weight. I'll share with you my levers of weight loss. My fasting lever is cranked up high. I know that I can fast for a long period of time. I'm fucking great at fasting. I mean, let's be real. I can fast. You guys know I can fast. I'm really good at fasting. My diet lever is down here. I suck at my diet. Yes, I do eat better now than I have ever before, and I take pride in that, and I'm glad that I do, but I still eat way too much. And I know that. I know I eat a lot, but I'm okay with that because I know that I can outfast that I'm going to lose weight. You know when people talk about you can't outfast a diet, I'm outfasting a diet, or you can't outrun a diet. Well, I'm outrunning a diet by outfasting a diet, right? I can fast for a long fucking time that no matter what I eat in this diet lever, I can outfast that. And that's what I'm doing. But my exercise lever is also very high. I'm walking 6 miles a day. I walk for an hour and a half, usually on average. I go to the gym to lift weights. I'm putting the work in. I put the work in with fasting. I put the work in when it comes to my exercise, but my diet is down here. What about you? Think about your levers of weight loss. How good is your fasting? If your fasting isn't that good, if you can't fast for as long or as consistent, then you know what? Your diet lever better be fucking up here. Your diet better be clean. Your exercise probably needs to be up here too if you can't fast for a long period of time. But if you're good at those other levers, that's how you figure this out. This is why I tell everyone your journey is going to be different. Everyone's journey is going to be different because I don't know what you're capable of. You probably are not even aware of what you're capable of when it comes to fasting until you do it. So don't ask me how long I should fast for, because my answer to you will be fast for as long as you can, as long as you healthily can do it. And to do it consistently. That's my answer for you. So it means if you can do a 46-hour fast the first time and the second time it's only 16 hours, then let it be and learn from it. And then go again. Hit the timer and go again. Hit the timer and go again. You know what, though? I'm seeing it in the comments. People are saying in the comments, because remember, don't forget, I read everything. Even though I don't reply to everything, I read every comment that comes through. I read people's comments, and people are starting to talk about, yeah, I'm learning with imperfect consistency, or that I just have to keep hitting the timer again. I'm able to keep pushing. I'm able to find success. And I love that. I love seeing that. I love that I'm able to share that message, and you guys are able to find success within that. Andre with a $20 super chat. Andre, it's nice to see you as always. Andre with such a generous super chat. Thank you so much, Andre. I appreciate you. Thank you for the generous donation. Andre says, J-Man, the May challenge has been collectively fun and quote unquote challenging at the same time. I'm glad that you find it fun. I love that. I love that we've come together and have done something together. And it's nice to see all of us finding some camaraderie within that. As of the 25th, my weight my weight in was 238.7 with a loss of 3.8 pounds. After refeed, I weighed in today at 240.4 pounds with a gain of 1.8 pounds. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Andre, thank you again for the $20 donation. I want people to understand too, when it comes to fasting, when it comes to these refeeds, so many of us are afraid of the scale. And I'm just going to share this because Andre put this out here, and I just want to share. When I coach a lot of you, or the people that I do coach, a lot of us are afraid of the scale. A lot of us don't want to weigh on the scale after a refeed because we're terrified to see the 3 pound, 4 pound gain. And it can be very debilitating for some of us, to the point where we don't want to continue what we're doing, because instead of trusting the process, we're so terrified of what the scale says. And the funny thing to me is we're terrified of what the scale says. So then for some of us, our reaction to seeing the scale go up is to then stop fasting and then eat, and then probably overeat for days on end or longer than that. And that isn't trusting the process. Instead, we're not learning from it, and we're doing the complete opposite of what you didn't want to do, which is to fast and lose weight. Let me share this with you. So I had said that I weighed in at 140.2 pounds. I weighed in at 140.2 pounds yesterday. Okay. I should have put this in a slide, but 140.2 pounds yesterday. This morning, when I weighed in after my refeed, I was 147.2. I gained 7 pounds on my refeed yesterday when I weighed in today. That is actually the most I have ever gained on a refeed. I actually was shocked to see myself gain 7 pounds. I usually gain anywhere between 4.5 to 6.5 pounds. That is usually what I gain during a refeed. Not even 6.5, more like 6. So to gain 7 pounds, I did a double take. I'm like, did I really gain 7 pounds? But does that mean that I'm going to stop fasting? Does that mean I'm going to go eat because I'm frustrated because the scale put me up 7 pounds? No. Why? I know the process works. I've already shown you here, right? I've shown you here. Andre, thank you again for the donation. Thank you for such a generous donation. I've shown you here that I trust the process. And every single 65-hour fast that I've done since my 10-day vacation, I have continued to either maintain the weight or lose the weight, or if I did gain weight, it was just a small blip. But every 65-hour fast, I've continued to lose weight over and over and over. And yesterday, I lost the most weight yet, right? I'm at the lowest I've been since I went on vacation. You all would be like, what are you doing, Jerome? Why are you breaking your fast? You've done all these 65 hours. And what if I told you, well, yeah, I'm breaking it because I gained 7 pounds and that sucks. So the answer is to eat and break? No, the answer is to trust the process and go again. And who knows? Maybe my weight will go up. Maybe I did overeat, but I won't know until I see what my weight is on Tuesday. But that's just me trusting the process, knowing that I know what I'm doing works. And if it doesn't work, if I do gain weight, then maybe I need to adjust the lever on my diet and I need to crank it up. Maybe I can't do hot pot, right? And eat cheesecake after. Maybe that's what I can't do. But I have to trust the process and see what the next step is in my journey. Simple as that. Just a reminder for all of you that is just going through this imperfect consistency, trusting the process. These are big key moments. So please keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I think this is the last slide I have to share. Last slide for maintenance. So I want to share with you what my average fast has been during maintenance. Remember, I'm 66 days in. The average fast during this maintenance has also been my 10 days of vacation. So this is also including 16-hour fasts, 15-hour fasts. But my average fast for the last 66 days of maintenance has been 54 hours and 14 minutes. My average fast when I was initially losing weight during my weight loss journey was 93 hours. So what I've been doing now for the last 66 days has been 39 hours less. I cannot tell you how nice it is to fast less. After doing 93-hour fast for 5 months in a row, the last 66 days being 40, almost 40 hours or almost 39 hours less, it's great. I love it because I've not only been able to fast less, but I've been able to keep the weight off. My average refeed during maintenance is 6 hours and 18 minutes. When I was doing it during my weight loss journey, it was 4 hours and 23 minutes. So on average, I've been eating 2 hours longer and I've been able to maintain my weight still. So for me, I look at that as such a bonus for me. I get to fast less, I get to eat for longer, and I get to maintain my weight. Fuck, I'll take it. That's great. I love it. There's a part here where I talk about how long I've been in my maintenance range, and I've only been in that range for 33%, a third of the time. 66 days, I've only been in that range for 22 of those 66 days. There are some of you that might think, well, that's not being in maintenance, but it is. That is me going through the process. That number will start to go up as I keep getting the weight down. I'm just doing it in a way where I'm not pushing super hard because I am not in a weight loss mode anymore. I'm just in my maintenance mode. I'm in that range and I'm slowly chipping away at the weight to get on the lower range of my maintenance range. Sherry with a $10 super chat. Sherry, it's so nice to see you as always. Thank you for the generous super chat. Sherry says, have you tried eating less fruits and veggies and up your proteins in for satiety? Actually, no, I haven't. And you know what? That's actually a really good idea. I love that. I actually haven't thought about that. And I know that's something that I have done in the past, but something I'll keep in mind. I mean, I do have a plan, Sherry, to eat carnivore. I don't know when, maybe in June, but I have a plan to do carnivore. I have a plan to eat keto. I have a plan to maybe do whole food plant-based. I have a plan to do fruits, I think, too. Although I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. I don't know how long I could do that for before I just feel like they might be binging moments for me or triggers. But I want to at least try and see if some of those things have been better over time. But no, I love that, Sherry, and that's actually a great idea. Helps those with refeed, bloat, and digestion. Sherry, thank you for sharing that because, yeah, I've heard that as well. So that's something that I would probably look into. So, and even if it's not less fruits and veggies, it's maybe cutting out more of the junk and just adding more protein in and seeing how that makes me feel. But Sherry, thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate you as always. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Okay. I think that's all I have at this point. Oh no, I don't. I still have quite a bit to talk about. This is the segment that's called Fit Check. These are the worst days for Fit Check for me because I just ate yesterday. And like I said, I gained 7 pounds today. So I am feeling quite bloated. The days after a refeed, I always wear a size up because I feel the bloat. So you're all going to have to excuse me. I am heavier than usual, but I'm here to show you where I'm at. So, I'll show you. This is me right now. Remember yesterday I weighed in at 140.2. Today I weighed in at 147.2. So I'm up 7 pounds, but I'll show you where I'm at. I mean, it's not, I'm fine, right? Like I'm happy with where I'm at. Sorry. I know I probably look frumpy too. So these are boys shorts. This is a size large for boys. I am wearing a compression shirt, but that's kind of where I'm at here too. But yeah, that's fit check. So I'm also very critical of how I look. So it's probably worse in my head than it really is. But yeah, anyway. And I don't know why. There we go. I'm focused now. So I want to go and talk really quick about how I've talked about how fasting is a way of life. For me, fasting might not be a way of life for other people, but the thing about fasting is all of us do it. Whether you like to believe it or not, if you're sleeping, all of us sleep. If you're sleeping, you're fasting. You're already in a fasting process the moment you're sleeping. Not only are you fasting, you're dry fasting. You're not drinking anything. You're not taking anything in. When I talk about fasting being a way of life for me, I talk about it because I've said it before. Fasting is my cornerstone. Fasting is my cornerstone of weight loss. Without fasting, I wouldn't be able to lose the weight I've lost. Without fasting, I wouldn't have been able to lose this much weight. I have lost weight in the past, but I have never, when I've lost weight in the past, I've gone from like 235 to 180. That's probably the best I've ever done. And that was probably done through low carb, right? But for me to go from 235 to 138, right? Or at my lowest at one point when I was 124, to go that far to lose 100 pounds, that was only through fasting. I know that I need to always apply fasting in my life because of the way I eat, because I eat so much. I have to, I can't eat back to back days. I can't do OMAD. Even though OMAD is fasting in that sense, I can't even do OMAD because I eat way too much. Could I eventually eat less? Maybe, but I'm not there right now. So I know that I have to keep continuing what I'm doing, which is why I'm fine being 7+ months in performing rolling fasts, right? Like I'm happy. I'm happy fasting the way I am because it's what keeps me in check. A lot of people think fasting is just a quick way to lose weight, and it is. It definitely is. If you don't eat, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose weight quicker than any other diet through fasting. But I think when people start to fast and stop looking at it as just a fad diet, I hate calling it that because it isn't. I don't think of fasting that way whatsoever. I think of fasting as an actual way of life, as a way of, well, not a way of eating, but a way of non eating. I do believe that there is a benefit in taking some time away from eating. You eat, you spike your insulin, and afterwards, you should take some time away from spiking your insulin again. To me, I think it's beneficial. For me, I think it's time to not only separate your body from food, but also for your mind, to get your mind to stop thinking about food all the goddamn time. Because why? Why do we need to eat so often? I've said this before, but corporations, they're not going to tell you to stop eating. They're going to just say, eat low fat, eat less sugar. Here's something that we've made concocted in this way that is going to benefit you. We've added more vitamins in this. We've added more whatever in here because they want to sell you something. Because they're not going to tell you to just stop eating and say, hey, take a break and fast. They're not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that. I think it's important. I think it's great to take some time away from eating, to let your body heal. But like I said, it's more than just letting your body heal. It's fixing your relationship with food. Think about how often you think about eating. Think about how much time you think about what your next meal is going to be if you're eating multiple times a day. Think about all the money you spend. Do you really need to spend that much money on food every single day, multiple times a day? I think fasting can be beneficial for everyone. And it doesn't mean you have to do a 90-hour fast. It doesn't mean you have to do a 168-hour fast. It doesn't even mean that you have to do a 23-hour fast. For some of us, if we're really good at our weight loss levers and we're really good at diet and exercise, there are probably some of us that can get away with a 12-hour fast and just eating really balanced while working out. For some of us, we can do that, but you're still fasting. You're still putting some time in to sleep 8 hours and mindfully saying, I'm not going to eat for the next 4 hours and then I'm going to eat later in the day. Or a 16-hour fast, or maybe performing a long fast once a week or once a month. Taking some time away from food. For me, I've accepted the fact that fasting will always be a part of my life. I don't know, for anyone that watches this, you might think that fasting is just this quick way of losing weight, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you can actually accept that fasting will just be a regular part of your life, and like I said, it doesn't mean that you have to do rolling fasts over and over and over, but maybe it means that you will occasionally fast, or some days you're going to fast less than other days. It doesn't always have to be these long fasts. Maybe some days are going to be shorter. But accepting the fact that you will always be fasting to take some time away from food, maybe that might be helpful for you to understand, yeah, this is what's going to keep me going. This is how I'm going to keep the weight off. This is how I'm going to stay healthy and maintain a healthy relationship with food. I was looking at my notes. I think I covered everything when it came to that. Sherry with another $5 super chat. Sherry, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the donation again. Sherry says fasting is the best way to get into ketosis. Water fast and sardine fast are miracles. I've heard of the sardine fast. I don't know much about it. I think someone had talked to me about it. Maybe you talked to me about it. Actually, I think it was you, Sherry. I think we were having a coaching session and you talked to me about it. I don't know much about it, but thank you for the $5 donation. Thank you for the support. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. That is pretty much all I have at this point. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through Q&A. So if you have any questions, I'm looking at Cassandra. Hi, Cassandra, by the way. I'm looking at Cassandra's comment here. I will go through any questions after Cassandra's comment. So if you have questions, please ask them now. At this time, though, I want to talk really quick about coaching. Yes, I do offer one-on-one coaching. I offer fasting, weight loss, and accountability coaching. These coaching sessions are one-on-one with me. They're pretty much personalized types of sessions. If you're wondering how to book some time with me, you can check the link in the description. If you have never talked to me before, you can actually do a free 15-minute consultation. Just again, take a look at the link in the description, or you can type in this URL here and contact me that way. Really what that is it's a personalized way to talk about what your struggles are, where you are during your weight loss journey or your fasting journey, and how I can help you get past that, how I can help you change your relationship with food, right? To find out if you do have triggers when it comes to eating, to find out how long you've been struggling for, and maybe put a plan together and show some accountability. One of the things that I talk about a lot is the importance of accountability and how I have to be accountable to you, all of you watching, whether you're watching it right now or you're watching this in the future. I have to be accountable, and that's what keeps me going. That's why I'm able to keep fasting the way I do. If YouTube stopped existing tomorrow, if social media stopped existing tomorrow, I don't think I could do this. I don't think I'd be able to keep the weight off because I don't have accountability. These one-on-one coaching sessions, a big part of it is accountability. It's to show up on a regular basis, to be like, hey, I'm here. Hey, I filled the spreadsheet out. Hey, I logged my numbers and I'm showing you this is what I've done. Sometimes just the act of doing that can be such a huge change in what you're doing right now. even having a conversation about your fasting regimen or your weight loss journey. It's not a conversation that most people have with just everyday people or even with close friends and family. That's what this is. It's a moment where we can talk about your struggles and what you're doing and figuring out if the plan is working. And if it isn't, how can we tweak that? How can we make things better? So, even with all of that being said, I also do offer an autophagy session. When I talk about being part of the Finally Fasting fam, you can find that also in the link in the description. They are group coaching sessions. They're like this, except I am just going through chat. I'm not talking about myself. I hold them every Wednesday evening at the same time. And there are sessions where I talk to anyone in chat that is struggling or has questions or wants to talk about where they're at or show some accountability. Please feel free to check that as well. If you want to do that, you can do that as a group. Whatever helps. That's my goal, is to try to help people get to their goals and figure out what works for them. So that's all I have when it comes to coaching in either of those ways. So feel free to check that out if you need additional help. I'm going to say this as well. There is nothing secret behind these coaching sessions. Nothing. Everything that I share with you right now is what I share with people I talk to, just in a more personalized way, in a more, hey, I need you to be accountable or I need you to show up type of way. That's the only difference. But there's no secret paywall. There aren't secret methods, and everything that I share is on public is what I share during the coaching sessions as well. Andre with another $20 donation. Andre, thank you so much. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Andre, thank you. J-Man, I'm getting better at not being bummed with the scale and working more on moving. I'm glad to hear that, Andre. I'm glad to know that. And here's the thing, Andre, I want you to, first of all, thank you for sharing that info. I know that isn't easy to just show or to share information like that. That's being vulnerable. And that's also you showing some accountability. But I also think it's really important to look at the scale as just a data point. It's just a number. And you know this, Andre. You know that even though the scale goes up, the moment you start fasting is the moment you're going to start flushing that water that you're probably retaining. Because let's be real. Remember, Andre, when I said I gained 7 pounds after my refeed? Andre, you and I both know I didn't gain 7 pounds of fat. I'm going to eventually flush that water out. And eventually I will lose weight again, just like I have after every 65-hour fast, or for the most part. Andre, thank you for the $20 donation. Thank you for sharing this too. It is going to take time. For a lot of us, we are so obsessed or we're fanatical about the scale that if the number doesn't show us what we want to see, we do crazy things based on that. And I'm trying to help people understand that we need to step away from that. We can't keep looking at the scale as the end all be all. That's why I talk about trying to use clothes as a motivator. If you have something that is smaller that you know that you can't fit in, use that as your motivator. Put that on, maybe take a picture or just look at it in the mirror or see how it feels, and then try it again the week after or 10 days after or 2 weeks after and see how it feels then. And if you notice that it's starting to fit better, if you notice that it looks better from the last picture you took, then you know that you're making progress. For a lot of us who are going to the gym and lifting weights, the scale's even going to be worse, because if we're building muscle, then the scale's not even going to show us what we really want to see. And so sometimes those non-scale victories of wearing something smaller can be a lot more beneficial, a lot more motivating than just what the number on the scale says. Andre, thank you though, again, for the $20 donation. I appreciate you, Andre. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So it's time for me to go through some Q&A. I will say, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go through all of it, but we'll see what it looks like today. Okay. I'm just looking for question marks. Trust issues. Hi, trust issues. I don't know if I've seen you here before. Does the weakness feeling ever go away after you do enough rolling fasts? It does. I've said this before. when I first started doing fasts back in 2019, I felt weak. I felt nauseous. I felt lightheaded. I've had headaches, trust issues. The one thing that I am going to say is, are you taking your electrolytes? Because sometimes taking electrolytes is what helps some of those symptoms go away. I'm also going to open this up to chat. Chat, as I'm going through questions, please feel free to answer. Please feel free to help anybody out that's here. I go through chat every time we finish a live stream, and I love to see how helpful all of you are. But trust issues, yes, the feeling of weakness goes away, but maybe try to take electrolytes. If you are taking them, then maybe it's about scaling back how long you're fasting for, or it's just about doing them over and over until you start to feel better. I just don't want you to be fasting and feeling super weak that you can't get through your day. If you're feeling that way, my suggestion is to break. My suggestion is to break and go again if you've already tried electrolytes and that's not working for you. So thank you for the question, Trust. LVB or LV Big Man, how do you fast without losing muscle? I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this. I know there are probably contradicting theories on how this works, but I'll tell you, for 5 months, I did 90+ hour fasts. For some of those fasts, they were 1 week fasts, 163 hours, so shy of a week. But I still went to the gym and I still lifted weights. Did I feel like I was losing muscle? No. I also know that our bodies aren't stupid. Our bodies, here's the thing, LV, when you're fasting, do you think your body is going straight for muscle? Or do you think it's going for energy resources, AKA our fat, energy stores? That's what our body's doing. If anything, our body is going for fat. If you, LV Big Man, if you have extra weight on you, if you have extra fat on you, if you have excess on you, the body is going to go for that while you're fasting. What I have learned, or what I have heard, is the only time you're really going to be losing muscle is if you are not lifting weights while you are fasting, because you're not putting stress on your muscles. That is what I've learned. I have not stopped lifting since I've started fasting. For the last 7+ months, I have not stopped lifting. I have not noticed myself losing muscle. In fact, I've noticed myself gaining definition, like getting more muscle, and I'm still fasting. So I'm the perfect example. I've noticed myself getting more muscular as I've been doing this. I've noticed myself lifting heavier weights. I have been doing progressive overload. So I don't know where you're hearing that you're losing muscle, but I don't know if this is this thing that everyone keeps passing around. The real question is, why don't you go try and do it and see if you're actually losing muscle? Because if you are, well, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see the proof behind it too, but I can tell you, go watch my other videos. Go watch. I have documented this process from beginning to where I'm at right now for 7+ months. I've been documenting this. It's probably even hard to tell if I was losing muscle at the beginning because I was so overweight. I was morbidly obese. But I can tell you for sure that the amount of weight that I was lifting has not changed. The only thing that it's changed recently is I've been lifting heavier and heavier and heavier while doing 65-hour fasts. So that's my answer for you. So hopefully that's helpful, LV Big Man. Sorry, I'm just looking at other questions. Calories out. Isn't waist circumference measurement with tape measure a good motivator? It is. It definitely is. I'll say this, calories out. I've used a tape measure before to help, and it has been helpful. But I also, here's the thing. So I know that sometimes, like using a tape measure to measure your waist circumference, especially around the navel, I feel like I can easily manipulate that. I can stick my stomach out. I can suck my stomach in. And for me, that was really hard for me to really tell if I was gaining or losing. And I guess you could just stick your stomach out as far as it can go. But sometimes that was hard for me to really tell. But I know that when I used to measure around my neck, that's when I would notice actual differences. Because when I gain weight, my neck gets a lot bigger. And you could tell because I have loose skin here. Like I have loose skin from like how much I have, like my neck has gotten smaller. Even my head, the same way. My head has gotten smaller. My hats that I wear, I have to tighten them up at this point. But yes, using a tape measure to measure parts of your body is a great way to not only find progress, but as a motivator. So that's great, Calories Out. I'm glad you mentioned that. Gary Warner asks, why is this not working? There you go. Jerome, have you ever done a dry fast? I have not. And my plan is when I do a dry fast, I want to document the process. I mean, I have done, I've kind of done dry fasts. So lately, when I wake up in the mornings, so when I go to sleep, I dry fast, right? Technically, you're dry fasting when you're sleeping because you're not drinking anything. I get up, I go for my walk, I go to the gym to lift weights, and I go for a walk again when I'm walking like an hour and a half. Today, when I walked for 2 hours, I didn't do it drinking anything. I was dry fasting. So I dry fast in maybe like a 8 to 10 hour period, but I have never done a dry fast probably longer than 16 hours or maybe even 14 hours. But if I do one, I will document that process because I know that if I do a dry fast, I will go through caffeine withdrawal, easily go through caffeine withdrawal. I drink a ton of caffeine, probably way more than I should. But it's also because I pretty much work every day. And even before I was coaching, I was working all day as well. I would like to try it though and see how long I could go for and what the process looks like. Thank you though, Gary, for the question. Appreciate you. King Leonidas, the 11th. How long should I fast to reverse a day of carbs and sugars? So King Leonidas, I don't know if you were here earlier, but the answer to this is it depends. How long should you fast for to reverse a day of carbs and sugars? How many carbs and sugars did you eat? If you only had a minimal amount, then I guess you don't have to fast for as long. But the real question is, are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to get excess fat off of you? So my answer to you then is to not even put a number to it. And my suggestion would be fast for as long as you healthily can do it. And see if you're starting to get results in losing weight. If that means that you can go longer, that's great. But if you can only do a 16-hour fast, then just do a 16-hour fast and see if you can build up to do something longer after that. Because that's really what it's about. Because even if I tell you to fast for 48 hours, does that mean you can do another 48-hour fast after that? Because I'm sure you're going to eat again. And I'm sure there's probably going to be some carbs or sugars in that as well. Unless you're planning to completely eliminate that, then that's maybe a different story. But even if you were just doing complete carnivore or zero carb, I'm sure that fasting would benefit you if you have excess weight to get off of you. Probably not the answer you're looking for, but that is, for me, I feel like that's the real truth behind it. Thank you, though, for the question, King. Calories Out. Doesn't consistently fasting with repetitive exposure protect muscle? You're right, Jerome, about muscle loss, and I agree with you. Yeah. So when you say consistently fasting with repetitive exposure to protect muscle, this I'm a little confused about. So are you saying with repetitive exposure, are you saying repetitive exposure while lifting? Doesn't consistently fasting with repetitive exposure protect muscle? Or are you saying because when you are consistently fasting, I don't know if you're talking about HGH, because I know there is an HGH boost when it comes to fasting, and I think that protects muscle. I don't know the science behind it. Maybe other people in chat can be helpful with that, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure. But all I know is I have been consistently fasting for 7+ months and I haven't noticed a loss in muscle. In fact, I've just noticed my gains getting bigger. So, um, yeah. Okay, let me move on. Yeah, Mark says Dr. Fung has a great video about fasting and muscle. I think I've watched that as well. I think I've seen that too. Sherry with a $5 donation. Sherry, thank you again for the support. Sherry putting a donation in to help answer the question here. Ketosis protects your muscles while fasting. Sherry, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing that with us while also supporting me. So I appreciate that. Okay. Let me see if I can find where I'm at here. Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to find my place. Yeah, calories out. I know this isn't a question specifically. How did our ancestors survive? They didn't eat for weeks, and if they lost muscle, we as humans would be extinct. I mean, that's the thing I think about too, right? Is back in the day, if you think about it, not even back when it was like, let's not even think about that far back. Think about when we didn't have refrigeration. People didn't just keep food in, I mean, I guess there were ice boxes or whatever, but even think before that, people didn't keep food that way. They hunted for their food, they gathered for their food, and I'm sure that there were times of fasting in between. And they still hunted and they were still active and they were still doing what they needed to do. So, no, that is a great point. Spike. We'll all lose muscle and just be bones and fat and turn into a blob on the floor after weeks of fasting. I mean, that's also a great point. I mean, that's very true. Like our bodies are not dumb that if we are fasting, it's going to take the muscle from us and it's going to leave the fat, because that's not how it works. Yeah, we're not just going to be a blob after we fast. Nashism. Nashism. I was about to say Nashim. Nashism. Are headaches something common during a 4-day fast? I mean, I've had headaches during a 4-day fast, but this was at the very beginning. And usually for me, it was either because it was caffeine withdrawal or carb withdrawal. But I'll say this again, if you are experiencing headaches, maybe it's time to make sure you're taking electrolytes. If it's not that, then maybe think about, is it carb withdrawal? Is it caffeine withdrawal? I tried it last week and got a sharp headache, so ended up leaving it at the 3rd day. And that's the thing. You know what? If it's leaving it at the 3rd day, then leave it at the 3rd day, refeed and try again and see if you're able to go for a longer fast after that. Or try to see if your electrolytes need to be upped. I mean, that's the best way I can kind of put it. That's the best way I can think about doing it. Do it where it is tolerable for you, because I don't want someone to have a headache after they fast every single time. That would be awful. Who wants to have a headache every single time? So if that means breaking earlier and then just building up to it, then do that. But keep me posted, actually, Nashism. I'm curious if you're able to get past that and you're able to do 4-day fasts after that. Gary says, have you ever measured your A1C? I mean, yes, I have in the past. Yes, I do need to go get it done. Gary Warner, I am a type 2 diabetic, so it is something that I have to be mindful about. But I will say that I do check my sugars every morning, and they are somewhere, they average somewhere in the high 60s, low 70s. So even as a type 2 diabetic, I don't take any medication, and my blood sugar is pretty normal. I think even on the lower normal end. So I'm almost certain my A1C would be pretty normal as well, but I can't say that for sure until I really get my blood work done. But when I do, I do feel like I will be sharing that. Just FYI. Oh, I see calories out. Doesn't the body get used to it and adapt to it? That protects muscle. The thing though, calories out, is I think that no matter what, I think the body just doesn't go for muscle, even if you were just to start fasting. Let's say somebody has never fasted before or has never done a prolonged fast and decided to do, let's say, a 65-hour fast. I still don't think the body's going to go for the muscle, even if you've never done one before. I think the body will still go for excess fat. I think that is just how our body works, that it it looks at it that way instead of just going straight for muscle. Abdi with a $5 donation. Abdi, thanks, Jerome. Thank you, Abdi. Thank you for the support as always. Abdi, it's nice to see you. Actually, Abdi, it's always nice to see you reply in the comments about how you're doing during your May fasting challenge. I love that you're in the comments, you're showing your consistency, you're showing up, you're being accountable. So thank you for that. Angie, hey, Angie, how's it going? It's nice to see you as well with a $10 donation. Angie, thank you for the support as always. Hey, Jerome, I'm so glad I caught your live. Angie, it's always so nice to see you. Can't wait for our session tomorrow. Currently fasting. I look forward to talking to you, Angie, just like I see everyone in here that I do coach. It's nice to see all of you. I love that you guys are so forward with like, yeah, I'm coaching with Jerome, or like Mark, how Mark's like, hey, coach. I love that you guys get benefit out of the coaching sessions. I love that you're here as well, that even through the coaching sessions that you show up on the Sunday streams and you're here to be accountable and you're here to support. So thank you so much. Thank you, Angie, for the support as always. Okay, let me scroll back up. LV Big Man, no problem. You've been doing bioscans and they show that you're losing muscle, but I'm definitely feeling stronger. So I'm not sure how to proceed. Here's the thing, LV Big Man. I didn't do bioscans, so I don't know if I truly lost muscle as I was fasting. Okay. I don't know how accurate those bioscans are, but here's a question for you. How important is it for you to lose the fat? If losing muscle, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to lose muscle either. I think all of us don't want to lose muscle. Okay. If you're worried about fasting and losing muscle, then fast less. If you know that you can lose weight doing a shorter fast, then fast for a shorter period of time. Because if your concern is that you are going to lose muscle, then fast shorter, because then you're consciously making the decision to prioritize muscle over losing fat. Am I right? If that's the case, fast less, but to the point that you can still lose weight, and then maybe just adjust your diet, right? Or maybe you're losing muscle because your diet isn't, I guess, enough protein. I don't know. And you know what? I'm probably not the right person to answer this question. Spike is really knowledgeable when it comes to, at least from Spike and I talking. So if Spike's still in here and can share that info, please, Spike, kind of help LV Big Man out here. But like I said, for me, I don't know what that would be. All I know is, and you know what, like you said, you're feeling stronger. So I don't know, maybe the bioscan isn't as correct as it should be. I know people talk about DEXA scans, and I don't know how accurate those are either. I can't remember who I watched. I watched something a long time ago. I don't know if it was Cole, where Cole talked about how drinking water manipulated the way the DEXA scan showed. So I don't know if that's the same idea. If you drink more water, it might change the way muscle and fat is being shown on those bioscans or whatever it is. But again, I'm not too knowledgeable about that, so I'm not exactly sure. Scrolling up. Okay. Sorry, everyone. I'm just going through questions. Mishmish. Hi, Mishmish. I'm not sure if you spoke about electrolytes during the stream. Do you use electrolytes? I don't use electrolytes. I used to use electrolytes when I did lengthy fasts, but I don't use them. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use them, but are they homemade or premixed? I just made my own table salt. I use iodized table salt. I use something called no salt, which is a potassium supplement, and I use magnesium citrate. Those are the three things I use for electrolytes. I can go get them. Give me 1 second and I'll show you. Iodized salt. I use iodized table salt for sodium. I use iodized salt because the iodine is supposed to help for longer fasts. I use this thing here called no salt. I know the light is like super bright, but this is a sodium free salt. It is a potassium supplement. If you see back here, a quarter teaspoon. So you can see how small that is. A quarter teaspoon, which I can't, oh, it's too hard to show, but a quarter teaspoon is 690 milligrams of potassium, which is 15% of your daily intake. And then I use, well, I have used, but not, again, this one you can just use whatever, I guess. I use this thing called magnesium citrate. It's organic and it's a capsule, and that's what I use for my supplements or my electrolytes. But I don't use any of them now. I do use this though. I use both of these, and I use these during my refeeds. So when I refeed, I use both of these to season my vegetables, and I use a lot of it because I know that my big refeeds, that's how I get my electrolytes in. And then I eat foods that are higher in magnesium, I think. Actually, I need to double check on my magnesium foods and make sure that I'm getting enough in there. Yeah, see, I know a lot of us are still talking about this muscle, like losing muscle while fasting. And yeah, Spike says you'd have to be down to zero body fat before body ate the muscle. And that's how I feel. Why would our body go for muscle when we have excess fat? I just don't think our bodies are stupid. I don't think our bodies would do that. Danielle, hi Danielle. Do you get the white tongue while fasting? So I know people ask this, and I don't, or I don't. Now I feel self-conscious. I don't want to like stick my tongue out, but I don't think I do. I know people talk about this. I know people talk about bad breath, but I don't notice any of these things. Or maybe people are just kind and not telling me my breath stinks, but I have a pretty good oral regimen of brushing my teeth and flossing my teeth every day. So yeah. Neo asks, did you ever experience dizziness during your fasting period? Not dizziness per se, but lightheadedness, weakness, nausea is something I felt when I first started doing it. I get it from time to time, even though I drink plenty of water with salts or electrolytes, even after eating sometimes. Well, if you're experiencing dizziness after eating, then that might be a different story, Neo. I mean, I guess the question is, did you experience dizziness before fasting or only when you started fasting? Because if you're experiencing dizziness after you eat, then maybe you need to cut down on how long you're fasting for. I don't know how long you're fasting for, but maybe you need to cut down on that until you can start getting away from that symptom. Or if you're experiencing dizziness and it's another reason, that might be something to check out at a doctor. Remember, guys, I'm not a doctor either. I can't give medical advice. I can't tell you if you're experiencing these bad symptoms, like things that might affect your work or driving or whatever, guys, you guys need to go to the doctor and get it checked, because I can't be that person to give you the answer, just FYI. But I haven't experienced dizziness. Maybe somebody in the chat can be helpful with that too, though. Just FYI. Sorry, Al. When you see me looking this way, it's because I'm looking at questions. Kristen Robinson fit check. Is that when I went to get up? I did a fit check earlier, Kristen. If you didn't notice, you can see that later. Sorry, I'm just looking for anything that says questions. Peak, what's the most weight you lost in a month? Here, you know what, Peak? Let me show you. I don't know how much I lost in a month, but I can show you this if you're interested. These are weight loss milestones when I first started fasting again. In 5 days, I lost 10.4 pounds. In 19 days, I lost 25.8 pounds. So that's in 19 days. That's not even a month, Peak. In 19 days, I lost 26 pounds. Actually, I can pull up. I don't know if I have this sheet here, but give me 1 second while I find this, because maybe I can show you something even easier than that if I have it here. Would this be it? Yeah. So look at this here. When in day 1, I weighed 217.8, and day 28, which is essentially a month, right? 28 days is 4 weeks. So in 28 days, I lost 31.6 pounds in a month. So I lost over 1 pound a day in 28 days. Just FYI. FYI. And again, Peak, if you're wondering, I lost 78 pounds in less than 5 months. So if that's any indication of how much weight I've lost, 78 pounds in 5 months is not. And here's the thing. I lost 78 pounds in 5 months and I got to my goal weight. So you can imagine, right? When people talk about losing the last 10 pounds, losing the last 5 pounds, and how difficult it is, I already did that. I got to that in 5 months. If I weighed 150 pounds more, I'm sure the weight would have been a lot more. So the weight, when people ask how much weight you've lost, yeah, it is kind of impressive to see, but also it's going to depend on the person. If somebody weighed 500 pounds, they're going to absolutely lose more weight than I did if they did the regimen I was doing. You know what I mean? But I know you're probably just curious and you were just asking, so just thought I'd share. Mike with a $10 super chat. Mike, nice to see you as always. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Jerome. Showed up late, but just wanted to check in. Thank you for checking in, Mike. Been dealing with the holiday weekend eating, but I've been hitting the timer consistently, which is the important piece, right? Mike, you and I have been talking about that, and I'm glad that you've been able to hit the timer and just keep doing that and trusting the process. I've been up in weight, like you said, but trusting the process. And I'm going to say this to everyone. When you're on your weight loss journey, like I said earlier, it is not going to be perfect. You're going to have ups and downs, but this is a learning process. I've told people this that I coach, but this is a discovery process as well. This is where you get to discover what your triggers are when it comes to eating. This is going to be a discovery process in what works and what doesn't. This is going to be a discovery process in what happens when life happens. What happens when I have an unexpected event that I have to go to? What happens when I go on a work trip? What happens when I go on vacation? It doesn't mean you have to start over. It doesn't mean that you have to give up and throw the day away. It just means you have to go through the journey and learn from the process. Just like Mike is saying here, he's been dealing with the holiday weekend, but he's hitting the timer. His weight has gone up, but he is trusting the process. Mike knows, and I know you know this, Mike. I know that once you get back fasting again, you will get back down. You will start losing weight again, because we all know, all of us, I'm talking to all of us here, we know that if you fast, you will lose weight. If you stop eating, you're going to lose weight on the scale. And even if the weight on the scale doesn't show, you are losing fat. You're not eating, you are losing fat. Fasting is the quickest way to get the weight off, to get the fat off. Girl Honey with a $10 donation. Girl Honey, how's it going? Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chat. It's been a minute, right? I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute, or maybe I haven't, I just forgot. But Girl Honey, thank you for the support. I've really been trying to do prolonged fasting and living a quote unquote normal life, but I can't find my rhythm. I try to stay busy, but I live in a small town and work is slow. Trying again. #imperfect consistency. Girl Honey, the way I think about this too is when you say you can't find a rhythm, is it because you aren't doing longer fasts? Is it because you're ending up doing an 18-hour fast and you're feeling upset? Is it because you're doing like a 20-hour fast and you're not able to do something past a day? Because that is what I find with a lot of people I work with. That's where they get upset or they feel frustrated. But it also makes me wonder then, if that is the case, are you still hitting the timer? Are you still showing up and being accountable by doing that? And if you are, that's great. But then my next question is, okay, are you working with the other levers of weight loss? So let's say you are only doing 18-hour fasts and you're feeling frustrated because you're only doing 18 hours. Are you exercising? If you're not doing any exercising, can you maybe start doing that to build that as a part of your routine? Because sometimes that can help fast longer. What do I mean by that? It means that sometimes when you are doing something other than fasting and actually working out, it for me, it puts this signal in my brain that it's like, yeah, now I'm doing something even more. Not only am I fasting, but I'm working out and I'm putting some activity in to get my body to waste more fat, to use more fat, to use more energy. Or it maybe it is just cleaning up the diet and seeing how good you are with that. Or if it really comes down to it, maybe it's just lengthening the fast at a shorter period every time. Lengthening it by half an hour or an hour, right? So maybe it's just going through that process. You'll have to keep me posted, Girl Honey. I mean, it's nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're showing up. So thank you again for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Let me scroll back up here. Jerome, what's your P.O. box so I can send you Redmond's real salt? I do have a P.O. box. Do you guys actually want? Actually, I don't know if I should be sharing my P.O. box to you guys. Maybe I won't. Sherry, just email me and I'll give you my P.O. box. I mean, I guess I could publicly show my P.O. box so you guys could, if you guys actually wanted to send me stuff, but maybe I'll wait on that and see if that's a good idea or not. But Sherry, thank you for doing that. I appreciate you wanting to send something. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me scroll back up here and just make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I see Neo's question here. I'm scrolling down just to see if there are any other questions. If anybody has come late to the stream, I am doing Q&A right now, so I'm just going through questions. So if you have questions, please ask them now, because after that, I will be calling it a day. Girl Honey, where do you get your intro outro music? I just use YouTube. YouTube has an audio library where it's free, so that's where I get my music from. So it's nothing special. If you're looking for the particular song, I can give that to you, but that's where I get my music from, just FYI. Names policy says Jerome has no fasting symptoms. He's an anomaly. The thing is, though, names policy is I've had fasting symptoms in the past. I just don't get them now. But I also don't have issues when it comes to going to the bathroom. Like, yeah, I do go to the bathroom. I mean, it's expected. When I eat 6,000 calories, sure, I do go to the bathroom. And I'm in there, right? I'm doing my bathroom stuff, but I'm not in pain. It's not awful. Some days might be worse than others during a refeed, but for the most part, it's not bad. I just like how you say I'm an anomaly. I do like to say sometimes that I am built different, but yeah. Okay, let me just scroll down here. Mike says, love the hat. Yeah, eventually I will get this for anybody who might be interested in supporting. if you're interested in that, I'm hoping to put that up in a place that you guys can buy merch. This is merch as well too. This is a oops, I keep putting this up the wrong way. Um, this sticker and the F sticker, right? This is this sticker here. But actually, give me 1 second. I'm at it since we're talking and I have some time. I have this one too, which is this one, right? And then this hat has a red one in the back. And then on this, oops, on the side here, just like here or here. If you guys don't know, these are Cubs colors, which is why it's black, red, and white. And these are Sox colors, black and white. So just FYI. These are also going to be limited. So when I do have them up, there's only a certain amount that I made. So just FYI. But I'll let you know when they're up. So these are just the samples. I won't get this for like another month or so, I think, or maybe a month and a half. Eva Sophia with a 5 CHF donation. I don't know what CHF is, but Eva, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I just weighed myself, and after 3 2-day fasts, I'm still stuck at 131.6 pounds, 59.7 kilo. Did that happen to you? And how did you deal with it? Eva, let me share with you something. And maybe you came late to the stream, but I'm going to share this with you right now. This is a great question, Eva, because I am going to show you if I can get this up. Where did I put it? 1 second, Eva. So what Eva's asking is she's staying at the same weight after doing 2-day fasts. Let me show you this just so you can see it. These aren't 2-day fasts, Eva. These are nearly 3-day fasts, okay? Look at day 44. No, look at day 41, day 44, day 47, day 50, day 53, day 56, and day 59, right? I did maybe 5 or 6 65-hour fasts in a row. 65 hours, Eva. That's almost 3 days of fasting, okay? Almost 3 days of fasting. Look at the weight. The weight barely moved. Barely moved. Even at one point, after doing like 6 or 7 65-hour fasts, I gained weight. Look at day 59. I gained weight. I eat a lot during my refeeds. That's why the weight is just going down very slow. If you're doing 2-day fasts and you're staying the same, I'm going to tell you right now, trust the process. You might be holding water after your refeeds. And I'll tell you this, if you give it an extra day, if you're able to push another day, you might be able to flush that water out, right? Or the real issue, maybe it just means that you're maybe eating too much, but I don't know what that's like. If you say you're doing a 2-day fast, but you're only eating 1,500, 1,800 calories, well, then the math isn't adding up. And what it sounds like then is you were retaining water, but it doesn't mean that you're not losing fat. So I want you to trust the process. If that means you might need to fast for an extra day just to see the weight on the scale go down, then maybe that's what you do, right? And that's how you trust the process. But I want you to look at this and understand that I am doing 65-hour fasts and I'm barely losing weight, barely. But all of a sudden, if you look at day 62 and day 65, the last 2 fasts I've done, all of a sudden the weight just dropped and nothing really has changed in what I've been doing. But all of a sudden the weight just dropped. And you know what I chalk that up to? Me trusting the process, me knowing that even though I'm eating as much as I do, I know that a 65-hour fast can still get me to lose a little bit of weight. And all of a sudden, I went from 142.2 on day 62 to 140.2. I'm giving myself time to lose the weight slowly because I want people to know that I can still do it in a slower manner, right? So anyway, Eva, thank you for the donation. Hopefully that's helpful. You might just need to do a deeper dive in what your diet looks like and where it's at. And if it means fasting for an extra day, or maybe even changing the way you're eating, or maybe during the days you're fasting, I mean, it could be you're just retaining more water after a refeed. That's kind of where I'm seeing it. But maybe you just have to keep me up to date and let me know where you're at. So appreciate the donation though. So thank you again so much. Appreciate you. Okay. Scrolling down. Angelo. Hi, Angelo. You're at work, but catching part of your live. Nice to see you, Angelo. Hi, Brad. Brad asks, why did you eat 1,000 calories of cashews instead of a nice, juicy Wagyu steak? Seemed like a waste. Seemed like a waste to who? To you? Why? What if I told you I didn't want a steak? Is that fair? I can't eat cashews. I just fasted for 3 days. I can't eat what I want. I can't have Brussels sprouts and Italian sausage. I'm supposed to eat a Wagyu steak. Why? What if I didn't want a Wagyu steak? Here's the thing, Brad. I don't tell people what they can. I don't tell people what they should eat. I don't tell people how long they should fast for or how they should exercise. I also don't like when people tell me what I should and shouldn't eat. That's why I don't like restricting anything that I eat. So I love that, I'm sure a steak sounds great, but if you've watched any of my episodes of Refeed, I don't think there was one time I ate a steak. Yeah, I love steak, but I can't tell you how often I go for steak. Now, I don't know if you asking me why I didn't eat a steak is I didn't know if something after that was going to be like, well, why aren't you just eating meat? Why are you just not eating? I don't care for it. I mean, is that fair? I like breaded chicken tenders. I like eating pie. I mean, watch my videos on what I eat and you can see that. So I love cashews and I eat a tin of cashews every single refeed and I'm not going to stop. I really have no desire to stop. And you know why? Because I lose weight doing it and I maintain the weight doing it. So I don't think it's a waste. For me, I enjoy it. And that's what it's about. It's about enjoying what I eat because it's mentally relieving for me to get through my next fast. So just FYI. Thank you, though, for the question. Mahogany. Hi, Mahogany. How does one stay so consistent? I've said this before, and I said it earlier, but I do think accountability is why I stay consistent. That is my motivator. You are my motivator. People watching this is my motivation. That's my motivation to keep going. Showing accountability, having to post every couple of days on YouTube, on social media, that's why I stay so consistent. Because I know if I fuck up, if I have a bad day, I'm going to have to document that and I'm going to have to share that. And I would rather not share that. And I'd rather share my success than show myself fucking up, right? But that's just me. But that's what keeps me going. I coach every day. I literally am coaching now 7 days a week. I'm coaching people not one person every single day, but I'm coaching multiple people, random people, right? Not random, but like I'm coaching multiple different people on different days of the week. And for me, I get to repeat the same message. I get to help people. And for me, that I do believe helps me stay consistent. But accountability, I think, is such a huge piece of it. Like I said before, if this was taken away from me, if YouTube ceased to exist, if social media ceased to exist, I don't think I could do this by myself. I would need to show some accountability to someone so that it doesn't seem like I'm doing it by myself. Because the moment I do this by myself and nobody is there that I have to show up for, it's so easy to walk away. And I'm going to say this to everyone who's watching this. Think about that for yourself. If you're having trouble being consistent, Mahogany, you as well, if you're having trouble being consistent, if you're having trouble staying on track, think about who you're being accountable to. think about what you're being accountable for. If you don't have an answer to that, if you're not being accountable to anyone or anything, then maybe it's time to do that. Maybe it's time to show some accountability, whether it's with a friend or a group or a fasting group or through coaching or putting a comment in the chat or in a live stream or later after the live stream or in the videos. Maybe that's your way of showing accountability. Maybe that's your, think of it this way. Okay. Let me say this too. The way I think about it is it could be like your job, right? A lot of us don't like our jobs. A lot of us would rather not work, but we show up. We show up day after day after day, and we have to do our job. And for the most part, this is my guess, for the most part, we try to do our jobs well, or at least to the point where we're not going to get in trouble. You have to show up for your job to be accountable. Sometimes it might be looking at this weight loss journey. And I believe it was Cassandra, if Cassandra's still here, who talked to me about, during a coaching session, talked to me about looking at your weight loss journey as type of a project, right? Like either a job related project or just a project in general. We all put in the time in our jobs to do the best we can, or at least try to. Some of us probably do more so than others, but because there's accountability attached to it, you have to do it. Because you're getting a paycheck at the end, you have to do it. There's a reward at the end for it. The reward at the end of this is your health. But maybe that's not enough. Maybe your health isn't enough, which is sad to say, but that's me too. Sometimes I think it's not just my health. I do it because I need to be accountable. I treat this as an accountability piece. So for me, I do feel that that's what is helpful for me when it comes to consistency. But the question is great, Mahogany. I appreciate you asking that question. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. I think that's it. I think we're good. Okay. I think we're good. Yeah, Cassandra, that was Cassandra who did talk about it. A fat loss project, right? And Cassandra has such a, she when she told that to me, it was like an aha moment for me too. It was like, yeah, you kind of look at it like a job. We all think about a project you're doing at work and think about all the time, all the resources you put in. You don't want to let people down because you are showing up to be accountable for your boss or your other coworkers, or making sure you do that part of the job correctly so that all the other pieces come through. If you look at it like that, when it comes to your weight loss journey, your fasting journey, that can be a game changer, right? You can start looking at that like, why are you taking so much care of all these other parts of your life, work, right? And you can't do this for yourself. You can't do it for your health. So definitely something to think about, and definitely a great point that Cassandra made here. So Marlana asks, will there be a June challenge? So I know other people have asked this too. I don't know if I'm going to do a June challenge. Maybe there's something I can do maybe in terms of consistency, but this June is going to be different for me because June 1st, I am eating all day. I'm eating all day, and that's going to be a different challenge for me. I'm going to see how much weight I'm going to gain eating just in one day. It'll be like how I ate for 10 days in a row or 10 days, but just once, and see what that's like. But it's going to throw off my numbers. And I actually am planning to do different kinds of fasts and different kinds of ways of eating is my hope. But maybe we can put something together. I'll think about it. Marlana. So I'll let you know. Okay. With all of that being said, I have a couple things left to share here. I want everyone to remember that the weight on the scale doesn't define you. Please, I take that seriously when I say that. A lot of us, we value ourselves based on our weight and the way we look. And I want people to understand that we're so much more than that. That the Jerome right now at 140, or today 147 pounds, is the same Jerome that was 217 pounds. That was the same Jerome at 235 pounds. I say that because I think it's so important during your journey to love yourself, accept yourself, and respect yourself for who you are. It's taken a lot of time for me to accept that, and I still have a hard time accepting that. But I know that no matter what happens in my life, I'm still going to be that same person, that person that wants to be the best that I can be and help people if I can. I want you to understand that as you're continuing your journey, that your worth is more than just what the weight on the scale says. At the same time, I also want you to remember that you are not alone on your journey, that fasting is always going to be a way of life for me, that I will never stop fasting. I can't afford to stop fasting. I don't want to jeopardize my health by gaining the weight back. I don't want to bring back my type 2 diabetes. I don't want to have high blood pressure. I don't want to feel fatigued. I don't want to feel like I can't walk up a flight of stairs. God, I've been walking every day. I walk for an hour and a half. I'll go run up a flight of stairs and not feel winded. Do you know how awesome that feels? Do you know how freeing that feels to not feel like I can't go somewhere because I'm going to be too tired? I don't want that to be me anymore. I love where I'm at today, and it's taken a lot of hard work, and it's taken a lot of discipline and consistency to be there. And I know that at times we probably feel like we're doing this alone. And I'm letting you know that you're not alone. Yeah, I know I'm only 21 hours because I broke yesterday, but don't forget, I'm completing 14. This is going to be my 14th, I believe, 65-hour fast. And before those 14 65-hour fasts, I did 34 90-plus hour fasts, 35 90-plus hour fasts on average, right? You're not alone in this journey. If you're struggling and you're like, I can't believe I have to do this just to keep the weight off, you're not the only one. If you're thinking that, remember, Jerome's doing it too. It's been 203 days. I have eaten for only 60 of those 203 days. You're not alone on this journey. There is this community. Look at the community here. And actually, I think someone just donated. Thank you, Girl Honey. I'm going to get to that in a second. Look at all the people in the chat here. They're showing up. You're not alone in doing this. I want you to understand that fasting, it can be difficult, but practicing imperfect consistency, knowing that there are days that are going to be better than others, that can be helpful in furthering your journey. I'm so thankful that I have found fasting to be my way out. My way out, meaning my way out of being unhealthy, being morbidly obese. Because remember, I'm 43 years old. It took me, I was 40 by the time I got to my actual goal weight, back when I first lost the weight. It took that long to find something that worked for me. So if you think that you're never going to find anything, just remember how long it took me to get to my place. And not only that, I mean, I gained all the weight back. And I was 42 when I came back to YouTube, nearly 43 at that point. So the journey never ends. It's always going to be ups and downs. Think about my down. That was a big down. I was gone for almost 2.5 years, gaining all the weight back, putting myself out here again to show accountability because I couldn't do it on my own. I needed you. I needed all of you to get back to where I'm at today. So if you're thinking you're alone, you're not alone. I've been showing up for 7+ months and I have no plans to go anywhere. If anything, I am going to show up more and more and more. And I don't, honestly, I don't care what the views are on my channel or what they look like. I'm always going to show up. Don't forget, I started this channel with nothing. I didn't even think anyone was ever going to watch this. I just posted it because I needed to show accountability somewhere. Sure enough, it turned into something bigger than I thought. But even if there were only 5 of you here, even if I was just talking to myself, I'm going to keep doing it because I know I need to show up. No matter what happens, my journey's never going to end. No matter what. No matter what. I'm going to scroll back up here. Girl Honey with a $10 super chat. Girl Honey, thank you so much again for another donation. I watch your old and new videos over and over again to stay motivated. I'm glad that they're motivating for you, Girl Honey. I appreciate you supporting. I appreciate you watching even the old ones. I fall down and get back up again thanks to you, Jerome. And this is what I mean. I'm glad that I can be helpful. I'm glad there are other people in chat here that are supporting other people, that are rounding all of each other up and showing that we can support each other and that we can keep doing this, that we can find success through fasting, that we can be a community and show our support for each other. I love that for us. I really do. Girl Honey, thank you again for the $10 donation. Thank you so much. And then Gina Ohm, probably not saying that right, with a $10 Canadian donation. Gina, thank you so much for your support. I don't see anything in here in chat. I don't, but Gina, thank you for the support. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, everyone, that's it for today. I will be posting another video on Sunday when I am finishing my 9th 65-hour fast for the month of May. I think that's it. Remember, if you guys are looking for additional help, you can check the link in the description for one-on-one coaching. It is something that I do offer. I also offer a free 15-minute consultation. If you haven't talked to me before, feel free to sign up there. If I can help you get to your goals and I can help you figure something out, that's my job. I would love to do that. There is also the autophagy tier if you want to be part of the Finally Fasting family. Even if you just want to join the OMAD tier to show your support, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, that's it for me. I am going to keep waving until I am out of here. So I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone. Take it easy. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, or for those that celebrate it. Otherwise, have a great rest of the weekend and enjoy the rest of your new week. All right. I feel silly doing this, so bye.